moment where we have to leave. So now he's obviously left, and Kelly kind of mentioned it. Veno and Agers are going to be going head-to-head with Bucky and Cam over at Heatwave. We'll have to see how this one pans out. But where does this leave Peterbot and Pollo, the duo, who have once again proved that they are not only one of the best duos in the world when it comes down to just placing in events, but they are also one of the best duos in the world when it comes to these off-spawn fights. I mean, we have seen it multiple times, not only throughout, this year, but prior in the past, these two players constantly having to fight off spawn to kind of prove, hey, listen, we are as good as everybody kind of thinks we are. And I feel like Veno and Agers, they kind of gave them the opportunity to prove once again, hey, listen, guys, we can fend for ourselves off spawn. We're going to push you out of our POIs. Please do not come.
I mean, there's got to be a reason why all the POIs that these guys land, it's like Demon's Domain, Sinister, like it's the, have they become the villains of NAC? I don't know if that's necessarily true, but they've definitely become the Goliath that every David is looking towards to beat right now. And Pollo and Peterbot, even when we saw them at the end of Major 1, where they got, 7th place, and obviously that's a pretty poor performance for Pete and Pollo, and then they go to the Summit LAN, and we get to see the double solo performance from Pollo. Like, there's never a moment where we're allowed to think, oh, maybe this is it. Maybe everyone else is starting to catch up to them. And then they've remind us, no, you guys are playing in our lobby. This isn't NAC. This is Pete and Pollo's lobby.
Man, yeah, it's a lot, right? Like, listen, we've talked your ear off, okay? This Heat 3 is absolutely stacked. It's going to be an absolute banger. We have 40 seconds to go, so why don't we do this? Why don't we go head up, feed it up with your casters. It's Jacob PR, it's Monster Deface to set up the stage for Heat 3.
Thank you so much. That's the big three on the desk, breaking down all the action and some of the teams we expect to see in Monster. This is why the community is looking at this as one of the hardest heats in Fortnite history.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, the content, the entertainment that is ahead of us is going to sell itself. I don't know who at Epic pulled out the drive and put the script together or something, but this thing is crazy because when you look at the roster here, I mean, Jacob, I saw the comments online. They were saying this looks like a grand finals lobby already.
No, it definitely does. You have superstars upon superstars, but you went ahead and look at some of the point values for these heat stages. Most of Major 1, the average is about 155 points to qualify. So far in our two heats, it's been 158. It's only a 3-point jump, but that's an elimination. That's a placement point, and we've seen 1 point change the difference of the course of history already.
Yeah, most definitely. You add in that little, pepper in the randomness that, of course, there are going to be teams that come from nowhere, probably at the bottom of the standings, and then push through a qualification. We've already seen that this weekend. I mean, shoot, yesterday we almost seen a Sky-basing team in Jordan and Brennan take home a random win in the game number 5, keeping it interesting for us. So, yeah, anything is possible here. But one thing's for certain, Jacob, there's going to be some upsets.
No, there definitely is. 5 games today, 5 Victory Royale winners or punch their ticket directly to the grand finals. After that, we look at top 10 inconsistency on the leaderboard. So we get to see which teams will continue their journey in FNCS, dodge the last chance major, because game 1 is ready. So let's get into it.
I feel like this is the moment the entire community has been waiting for. Game 1 of Heat number 3. It's been building up to today all weekend long. How are these storylines going to unfold? I mean, our analysts did it perfectly. They gave us the bigger picture, who's contested, what's on the line. But more importantly, this is just the beginning of what's teeing up one step closer to our grand finals.
Yeah, I even have my
how's a bot beat the bot
map right now to see if there's
on
tricks up
Canada?
anybody's sleeves. Kind of saw Sinister Strip, uncontested, nothing strange going on there.
Well,
at Wonky Land, but this is the fight we thought would happen. Bucky and Cam landing over towards Heatwave Harbor. You see it in the minimap. Veno and Agers looking to take the other side.
One team
open for a little bit of shots like this. Luckily for them, it was only a rapid fire SMG.
Two team.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest. I was thinking that probably they were trying to pull a fast one on us, and they would be, pretty timid, right, in contesting one another. Maybe split the drop. We've seen it time and time again. But it seems like Bucky is here to fight. So we'll just keep an eye on that one. Jumping over to some other contested drops. I mean, when you look from the community side, who is fighting who, there are 10, 11, 12 plus different potential battles happening right now.
All done. I would feel like at a slower pace here, that's kind of the trend of day 1 Heat 1, Game 1, kind of throughout the weekend. But right now, you see when you're in the contested fight, sometimes you're not able to really slow down the pace. Neto, Zypta just kind of taking the scraps. They don't want to necessarily take a big risk this early on in the tournament, so they are going to go their separate ways and kind of force a split, which isn't necessarily easy because the amount of teams in and around the Battle Woods.
Yeah, talk about those split plays now already. We're seeing how Peterbot starts to venture outbound. Of course, trying to play for those mythic weapons. This is going to be a very big day for Peterbot. You know, we'll have to see if he decides that he wants an early clock out, you know, or if he wants to go the distance. We've seen a little bit of everything from different pro players. And play-ins, Peterbot and Boy have averaged roughly 14 eliminations per game, including of the 4 games with 30 plus of those elims. I mean, there's just so much going on here with Peterbot and Boy. You never know what you're going to get, but one thing's for certain, they're always explosive. Look at this fight here, Jacob.
Yeah, you see him just trying to go ahead and box him up. Gets the down. Just 2 angles sometimes. Hard to overcome, especially in these off-spawn fights where you don't have a lot of materials. You see Amplified trying to hide. I did see in the feed his teammate did go down to Kugo and Castle, but a third party comes in. That's going to give him a little bit of a blessing to try to assess this situation over at the coast. But a whole nother team comes in as well. 3 teams straight fighting it out here, just trying to figure out how they can get some early points, a little bit of advantage. There goes Castle going down. Fan is going to go ahead and get that first knock, give his team a little bit of advantage. Him and Angel seem to storm this fight, and it seems to be working out.
Yeah, doing a good job kind of cleaning things up right here. You saw Tsunami's Amplify kind of lurking on the outskirts. I was uncertain of whether or not he had his duo and he was ready to jump in himself, but it seems like he doesn't want to get into this fight. It's a little too messy. If you attract any extra attention, he might get jumped on by these fresh duos here. Angel, Van get a nice little elimination there. Some points on the board, and everyone else splits up.
Amplify, Kugo, just kind of blessed to be able to survive this fight. They might be solos as of now, but they're just trying to venture on out so that way they can hope to get their reboot card and their teammate back in the game later on. Clicks and Rapid getting busy early on as well. They already got that 1 elimination, and even though they might be uncontested here, Monster, they're lurking for some early game fights.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, you don't want a situation like we saw yesterday where some teams, you know, a little hesitant, right, to make a move in game number 1, put yourself into the action. It takes me back to kind of to Heat 1 where Cold and Ritual nearly found themselves, right, on the wrong side of the Storm Surge for game 1, and that's kind of set them off. They weren't able to come back, but look at this. We were curious about how the fight was going to go down. Bucky and Cam had a lot of choice words to say about how they felt they've been prepared in this drop this entire time. And it'd be crazy for anyone to think that they can just jump on over to the harbor and take the drop from them. But so far, Veno has the lead here.
Yep, and you can already see what's in Ager's inventory here. He does have the scanner, so they don't necessarily have to lurk around super hard, take many big risks. They just need to figure out what building they think Bucky is in, and then throw that scanner nearby. So hiding is going to be very, very limited for him. You see the team on the outskirts, Mako and his duo, just trying to go ahead and get their split drop or loot and kind of bring it back. Out goes the scanner now, and now Bucky's position is going to be revealed. And this is the thing about contested fights. Sometimes you're okay with letting that solo live, but in this situation, there's no shot. If they have an opportunity to take down Bucky, they're going to let that one go to waste.
Yeah, they have to. They have to allow, you know, themselves to take a huge lead over Bucky and really give them no chance to go to finals. Otherwise, this is going to be a problem that's going to come back around to visit them later in a finals lobby. So for Veno, for Agers, the option is very clear. It's them versus Bucky and Cam all day today. They're going to do everything in their power to hold them back.
Going to take a pause right now and see that there's no HP in either one of the guys' inventory here. So they have to kind of revert back on over towards that mending machine. They definitely have enough gold to get the med kits, to get the chug jug. Definitely going to have a wide selection at their disposal. But while they take this time, it's going to allow for Bucky to try to figure out an escape plan here, as King and Craze also uncontested at Calamari Canyon. They're lurking outwards. They're an aggressive team, Monster, and they're already starting off game 1 in that same fashion.
It's a very fun duo right here. You saw them at the summit just popping off, putting on performances. I mean, in the practice room, King was someone who was slowly and surely earning everyone's respect just based off of how good he is in these types of box fights, head-to-head environments. He tends to win his ones very much regularly against the other NA Central pros. And already flexing just that. Meanwhile, we have Skittles, Koi in here. They're kind of playing the zone right now in the chop shop. They pull the zone up towards this way, so they have a lot of time to work with. But again, this is kind of unfortunate, right? I feel like if you get the zone this early and you're playing Storm, you are not going to have enough damage.
Gotta agree with you 100% there, especially since we've already seen a lot of the teams rotate inwards, so it's not going to be too many options here. As Kugo finally seeing him still rotate up from the cluster coast. Just trying to figure out how he's still going to get his duo back into it. A lot of this coastline
last
monitor is
offense,
contested
yeah.
by either split
Set
drops
you
or
put to win one offense, yeah.
And Braids will kind of claim this as
I
their own.
said
They've
it
claimed
at
it
the
all
end.
season long, since it's kind of thing, whether it's contested or not, they don't stray away from a fight. And that's why it's getting kind of dangerous here while teams are kind of lurking in. But the biggest resource here and why teams are lurking here from their split drops is the amount of metal you're able to farm.
Yeah, definitely. You can see the remnants of other boxes from players kind of refreshing and warming up their material counts. There's still a loose solo here, though, lurking inside. This is going to be helpful for Bugha, though, because this team's likely to be caught out first. Bugha, Braids will be able to kind of jump on the opportunity as they get the extra download of the information of where the teams are. For now, though, everyone's pretty patient here. Even Bugha Braids kind of eyeing that duo on the outside. Just kind of waiting this one out, really trying to buy time here.
Just like we saw Kugo already swim north, it almost looks like Zeely might be by himself, trying to do the same thing, follow that path. Avoid potential danger at the Grove. You kind of see Kanata and Sphinx. Very, very similar drop as we saw yesterday with Aoxy and Jojo Fishy, that top mountain. They have the benefit to kind of look down at either one of the contested fights at their disposal and try to accumulate those numbers. So since it is very, very early on, you can kind of see the base that they're set up, knowing that most of the teams on the eastern side of the map are going to have to figure out a way to get in the zone.
Kanata had the bulk of the ammo there too. Sphinx was looking a little light. We'll have to group up together here shortly. Meanwhile, more rotates coming through the Heatwave Harbor. I'm seeing the feed light up as Kingaling finds another duo. So again, Craze and King just kind of doing their thing right now. Popping off, finding points, reflexing on the competition here. And you saw the graphic, right? It said that there are 9 finalists, 9 champions, sorry. The most of any heat in this particular heat. This is by far a very competitive lobby to be going against.
Yeah, you're seeing players like, you know, Iggs and Curve. In their play-ins, Monster, you kind of look at a lot of their stats. They got 16th, not necessarily the best on the leaderboard, but 215 eliminations. 9 games with 10+ eliminations or more. They had 4 games with 20+ eliminations, one of the highest in this lobby outside of maybe Peterbot and Poyo. It just goes to show, when that switch gets flipped, they can turn it on, they can get aggressive, but they can also have a slower pace game over towards Lifty Lodge. They know the zone is working in their favor. They can overstay their welcome. They have a mending machine, which no other teams are going to touch. So right now, it does look like game 1 looking sound for them. Just like Reet and Cooper, uncontested Wonky Land, and they waste no time making their way to the zone.
Yeah, they have one of the stronger drops, of course, to be completely uncontested. You see it reflective of the loadout, but jumping to Veno, Agers, the hunt now to fight and find action led them to Craze and King. This is a tough battle here. I mean, we've hyped up King and Craze enough. This is about to be the point where they get to show us of whether or not what we said was all smoke and mirrors, or they really do have what it takes. Agers, Veno kind of backing off here, looking to almost get themselves situated a bit more. King and Craze recognizing, hey, this might be a really good team. Look, they kind of back off the machine here, go back into the storm as a safety strap.
There's no real reason to make some big risks early in this game, especially when it's success at your off-spawn fight. Didn't necessarily get both of those eliminations, but hey, definitely progressing in the right direction as we go back on over toward the Battlewoods. We know more and more teams coming from the north side of the map, or even the eastern edge, will try to make their way on over. I think it's the slower, less occupied side of the zone. But we saw how contested the battle was right out of the gate. Soneto and his duo Zypta really haven't moved. They just parked that ship, and they have no intention of bringing that anchor back up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they have this entire southern half, right, of the Battlewoods themselves, so they're sitting very much situated right now. Take a look at the map. Still so many teams playing the outer skirts of the zone right now. But here comes the outer edge congestion that's going to start taking place here. This is where things are getting real interesting here shortly. For Soneto, though, this duo has really not much to worry about, but now that the surge has revealed itself, they're eyeing up this duo across from them, and they're going to go for the shockwave play likely.
Yeah, this is kind of the mind games that Storm Surge plays. You're 90 above that damage threshold, which kind of is like, cool, I don't have to worry about anything for this zone. But as you progress in the game, if you don't land any more shots, you will find yourself below that damage threshold. So it kind of leaves you with a choice. Do I go for damage early where not too many players are kind of squished close together in a close proximity? Or do I wait till later in the game where panic starts to set in all around the lobby? Definitely decisions need to be made. Golden Ozone, contested fight. Looks like they have survived that one. Just waiting in a bush, not trying to build to give away their location. Just trying to see if anybody strolls by and makes a mistake.
Yeah, this is a nice little bush to be playing, especially here on the outskirts of the zone. And little do they know, they're about to get paid off. There's other duos working their way towards them here. You can see Zeely right beneath him. Now, do remember when we last saw Zeely, he was a solo. So these guys are moving with not much to work with. Oh, gosh, and they open with a huge shot. Very smart by Golden trying to break the structure down. Zeely goes down. There it is. He gets rewarded. So I'm thinking they understand his team's under surge. That's going to be all the telling that they need here.
Yeah, that's just a huge signal. You don't necessarily see it in game. I know us kind of casting it, you see the players get like struck by Storm Surge. You don't necessarily see it while you're in game. The only real clue is the audio of the shields cracking, or just like that, no knock, straight elimination, and it happens yet again. Both of those eliminations get cleaned up, and how, just like you said, they're going to be rewarded tenfold. Patience absolutely pays off for Golden and Ozone, and now they're going to see more and more opportunities with other teams from outside of the zone making their way in.
Yeah, that was crazy. That team is keying them. They probably are also below the surge here. We'll see what ends up happening there. Meanwhile, Sinetto, Zikta, they took too long to initiate the battle on the team that was on the outskirts. They found themselves by themselves now at the Battlewood Woods here. And look, they have to fight their way towards the rest of the lobby here now. Finding themselves barely 40 above. Seems like something worked out in their favor. But either way, pressure is on them. This little opportunity they have right now to kind of reset, get back in the game, they shouldn't take it for granted. They need to be looking for activity here.
Yeah, they might not be in desperation mode just yet. You can see a bunch of empty item slots. I saw maybe 20 on the Chug Jug in Sinetto's inventory. So they might be all fine and dandy above the damage threshold, but they know with the current stands, their loadout, the amount of resource they have, they're going to need an elimination. And even now, the next zone, they fall below that damage threshold even worse. You see him setting up for a pre-edit. They're on the clock here. They have to go, and they have to go now. Craze and King is the only team in front. They're trying to spray the build, get the pre-edit in, but King and Craze deny that opportunity 2 consecutive times, getting more and more damage onto Zypta and Sinetto without even moving a finger.
Yeah, this is tough spots for them to be in. They find Unreal Liana. Can they get in the box? It's not going to be enough damage if they get the body, but just like that, doesn't really matter. King and Craze timed their entry perfect off of that desperate team collapsing in, and they find themselves with even more points now. 7 eliminations, and we've barely touched the end game now. This is quite the performance for King and Craze.
That's just one of those moments, man, for King and Craze. They just make it in the zone, no intention of fighting. They're the ones who actually get a growth stomp for a second. And then when the dust settles on monster, they get 4 bodies worth of loot to go ahead and progress in this game, as Boji does go down. 406 above the damage threshold, so the damage is not necessarily going to be a worry for Peterbot and Pollo, especially with their 2 eliminations here. It's more so about making it up the side of this mountain or through this cave.
This is really interesting. Another elimination now falling to Pollo's side here. Just getting the last little touch of damage here before the surge actually supports them, but Pollo's not going to let this one up. They've intentionally chosen to come down and into this tunnel.
That's the tunnel.
Prefer to put themselves in a more advantageous spot, but Peterbot Pollo looking pretty good right now. They just have to weather the storm, hopefully find some material count. They want to play this end game out comfortably. Regardless, though, the way the kind of zone's playing out here, we'll be seeing them get active here shortly.
Yeah, they know how to find eliminations. They already got 3. Just looking towards the side, seeing Frenzy, seeing a duo. They immediately go to work.
Yeah, okay.
The first one going down. Clicks is able to steal away that second elimination, but nobody's really closing the gap. It's still too much of a risk so far for Peterbot and Pollo to try to dive on over and steal away that loot. But you can see the attempt is in the back of their minds. They know they got to go to zone. They know these opportunities will come as this game progresses.
They're smart. Look, they're not even going to go for the loot. They seem to recognize, hey, that's a little too risky if we go to the outskirts, right? It'll allow the server to single us out. King, meanwhile, on the other side, jumps their way up to 8 eliminations, taking a little bit of that prestigious high ground there. But let's look at who's going to get situated first. Reed and Cooper have the high ground. Boyo lost on the rotate here. It was going to be a tough one. We knew it. But they needed that material. They were pretty desperate for it.
Kate, kill him.
Just as they were working their way across, they got
kill
caught
him?
out here. Meanwhile, Clicks
Yeah,
on
Kate.
the other side of the
Oh
box.
my god.
Peterbot might actually make a really big
Yeah,
play
hit
here.
butt bit now. Oh wow.
Yeah, even more so. You see, Rapid just trying to put down pressure onto one and finds Boyo. Wasn't even
Wow.
his initial target, but sometimes, Monsuito, you just got to take what you can get, and you can see why Peterbot was so concerned with them on the other side of that wall. But as you see where the zone is going, right now we're slightly moving up towards the top of that mountain. If it goes towards the west, if it goes towards the east, we'll keep that one in play. Anywhere else, it'll gradually get easier for the lobby, but you have to be able to survive up until that point.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not even sure if we saw the conclusion of Venno Agers hunting down Bucky, who got away. So it seems like that's still an ongoing situation. But Venno's the one that is obviously making their appearance here in this endgame. I see Booga and Braid still standing. Clicks and Rapid seem to be off to a strong start. Meanwhile, High Ground now gets sniped up by Venno. That's a key elimination for them. My gosh. Gets the elim, and now they get to rotate in time without taking any extra damage. Let's talk about a perfect turn of events for them.
Trying to figure out how they even got up there
wow.
unnoticed. Just step by step, he climbed up the mountain and just took out Cyclops. We saw Venno and Agers one side of the high ground, on the other,
need to
Reed and
open
Cooper
it,
probably reading that they did pull zone. They immediately build up, trying to keep it. A lot of extra heals in their inventory, but in the 8th zone, 39 builds on Reed. You gotta hope Cooper has more, because right now it is looking a little light to hold it for the rest of the game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I was just going to say, you know they're going to have to shockwave across, right, and get situated here if they want to have complete control. Someone looks to be contesting. I see Rapid down. Don't forget, Peterbot's still playing this as a solo right now as well, so a few big teams still surviving here. Clicks now has to play this one out as a solo by himself as well. It's Braids on the other side of the wall alongside Booga. Clicks, though, tries to fight his way into the Chug Splash. Definitely worth it. Meanwhile, here's Peterbot's POV. 4 elims now, has made his way to the new zone. He's just trying to download information here.
You know, but these are sometimes the best players in the world as a team, but there's just a different freedom when you're a solo, not having to worry about anybody but yourself. And that's what we're seeing here, side by side. Peterbot and Click, same scenario. It almost looks like 2 different outcomes coming out. Peterbot just putting full-on aggression onto a whole nother duo, not scared to back down, but he takes too much damage there in that situation, forced to stagger himself outside of the zone. And without any shockwaves, it's going to be tough for him to find his way back easily.
This is crazy. Peterbot goes for the full HP play as he tries to fight his way to mid-ground layer, but he gets put down. Meanwhile, Venno and Agers are still going here. Venno leading the charge here, finding the knock. Agers gets the follow-up right behind him. They're now at 3 eliminations here. Players on all sides of their walls, but opted to play the ultimate low ground. Meanwhile, Crazy and King are elim leaders right now at 10 eliminations and still running through the lobby here. They have control, and the complete control, actually, of the mid-ground layer here.
And they're looking up, briefly aiming at Booga and Braids. Peterbot still lurking around. You're seeing from 40 builds to 2. He's under pressure. King's gonna get dropped. Craze left by himself. Only 70 on the Chug Jug. No way for him to get back up to full HP or shield without an elimination. Meanwhile, Peterbot's gonna get the elimination onto King. Venno and Agers down below. They're going ahead and dodging all the chaos up above.
Yeah, listen, there's so many teams
Die.
fighting their way through
Oh
the mid
my.
layers because it went down, back down kind of that mountain. But with Venno dropping to the ultimate low,
How the
now
fuck
they're
he's
the
still
first
alive?
to take advantage of the teams trying to find their footing here. And this is working out so well. Look at the high ground position, though. It's Booga versus Cooper. Booga ends up on top. Braids is still holding on, though. And they're trying to situate themselves here, but it's cost them everything. They have no more materials left.
Yeah, you just gotta hope that Braids has just enough for them. Trying to pass them around, looking down could be their only opportunity as Peterbot cleans up another back-to-back, getting both of those eliminations. Monster, we saw him almost on 0 builds a couple of seconds ago. My, how time flies, and now he's going up for the high ground.
Someone kill him.
1v2 situation. He's trying to bring him back down to reality as he drops down, realizing it might not be worth the risk to use all these builds for a fight that is not going my way.
Peterbot is just different, right? You see the recognizing that he can go for something big there. Meanwhile, Peterbot versus Clicks. Clicks didn't want anything to do with that solo player. He had no idea it was Peterbot, but one thing was certain, it was was danger nearby, and off he goes. I like this play by
Okay,
Clix to try to
how
stay
the
alive
fuck
here
Peter
and earn as
Bot
many
and
placement
Cage
points as
still
possible.
alive?
This is a true clutch for both Peterbot, Booga, Clix, Veno, all these guys still holding on here in the lobby. Peterbot's still hunting right now, though. Clix gets away, bangs Cooper, another solo on a different layer, and they are playing out of their minds here.
This game one is proving that primetime players making primetime plays. Peterbot finally gets shut down. His run has come to an end, but at what cost? One of the duos just got separated. Jesse Jerem goes down, Five's left by himself. That is because of Clix and his aggression. Kanata does it again, takes out the other part of that duo. A lot of these solos are doing a lot of the heavy lifting. That duo up above, they could smooth sail their way into a victory royale.
Listen, no pressure here for Clix or Kanata. They've done enough at solos. They pushed their
Yeah,
way to the end game.
Buta have no
pressure
peel.
on their shoulders to perform here. Braids falls first, but it's okay. Booga was there to back him up in the end there, Jacob.
Buta win
What did
one
Kelly say on
both
day one?
game.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion
Buta
sleeps tonight.
back.
No, he is awake. He is roaring. He is now punched his ticket to the FNCS Major 2 Grand Finals.
I'm just gonna say, Booga! That's why you can never count out the lion. That's why you never count out Booga. That's why every time we look at Booga, we go, oh, like Kelly said, oh, this guy's so washed. Oh, shut up, you don't know anything. Are you a lion? I don't think so. No, Kelly was... Kelly, oh my gosh.
Oh. Crazy stuff there, Kelly. But yeah, I mean, listen, Booga and Braids there jumping into the action. Game number one. How in the heck have they done it? Kind of returning to the big stage here. Listen, this is exactly what we want to see from Booga and Braids. Obviously, we wanted to see them make it to the grand finals, but with a statement to be made as well, right? If you come out swinging, if you come out winning game number one, I feel like it just adds a little bit more emphasis, if you know what I mean. And I kind of talked about it. The last time that we have unfortunately seen Booga himself in an FNCS finals was Chapter 6, Major number 3. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see him at Global Championships. We didn't get to see him in Major 1 finals, and we did not get to see him at the Summit. So that's why it's been a long time since we've seen Booga himself. That's why those conversations were starting to kind of rile up. Oh man, how good is Booga? This is what he needed. He needed a statement to be made here in Heats. Obviously, we want to see him continue on with a performance like this in the grand finals, but I'm really liking what I'm seeing here, Zeke.
Dude, it looks so good. It's crazy you guys didn't hear Kelly's just crazy joke. She just got me to laugh so hard. But I agree, man. It's crazy to see them. And the fact that we saw so many different fights there, like the fact that they jumped up, like we saw Cooper and Reed on the height, and Booga was like, bro, I'm going up there. I'm going into overdrive. I'm taking the fight to them. And then they walk away with a win in game number one. I mean, dude, this looks so good. Kelly, are you there? Sounds like you are.
The mouth that I call Booga washed. Please do not say that. I was not calling Booga washed. I was saying that other people were calling him washed. But regardless, congratulations to Booga and Braids.
That's right. Guys, we're going to go to a break. When we return, we're going to take a look at some of the unfoldings of game number one by taking a look at the standings. So we'll see you right after this.